Hello and good evening. My name is Mark Blatstein, the physician founder of Physician Presentence Support Service. Today I'm going to review, it's a real life story where defendant was actually remanded or jailed before his trial and sentence date. So the family, and I'm coming into the case late. The family reached out to me about a month ago. The family and attorney reached out to me again about 2 weeks ago. And they contacted me, as I said, after the individual was jailed. His presumed co-defendants had already worked out plea deals with the prosecutor, leaving this person pretty much out on the proverbial limb, with the prosecutor refusing to accept any sort of plea arrangement or any kind of plea deals. And it seems that the prosecution has already determined that this gentleman was the kingpin, which kind of seemed kind of strange to me. I haven't shared any of this with the defense counsel because I have yet to be fully engaged, but it was an interesting case. I wanted to bring it up. Added to this, according to his family, he has a remarkable past medical and mental health care history that really has yet to be fully evaluated. And while he is being treated in a jail in the state where he's at, he apparently is not being um, treatment is delayed. And as we all know, um, treatment in jails and prisons is basic at best, and delayed and minimal is expected. Has he finished high school? I don't know. GED, I'm not sure. But on the surface, things are not going his way. And so, according to counsel, it's almost like they're being forced into going to trial. Well, that's not really good because 98% of these cases wound up with guilty pleas anyway. And so the next step then is the judge. And we all kind of understand from the judge's perspective, judges understand that the Department of Justice wants a conviction. The prosecutor, well, the prosecutor is going to want jail or prison time for a variety of reasons. And some of it probably is, to enhance should they want their career, should they choose to go either into a white collar career or into politics. But from the ethical perspective, retribution, the idea that people who break the law deserve to be punished, deterrence, the idea that the prison system should deter others from following a similar path. Incapacitation, which means that they should need to remove people from who have offended from the communities so they cannot hurt others. Rehabilitation, just what it says, so that they should hopefully change from their criminal activities. Judges also know that attorneys are paid to say nice things or at least keep their clients out of prison. At the same token, attorneys, most attorneys in a traditional criminal legal defense or most legal defenses, they know the law. But I would think a strong or majority of a legal defense is what makes up this person's entire background is, their social or their personal background from childhood to what caused them to break the law. And some attorneys just don't have the bandwidth to go in and take the time to delve into that. So the one person that the judge knows nothing about is going to be the defendant. And if the defendant or the person who now is sitting in jail, they're probably terrified. If they do nothing and just sit there, then all the judge has to make the rule in the sentence is going to be the indictment that the prosecutor, Department of Justice, has put together, and it's probably not that glowing. And so there are things that the hopefully the defendant or the person sitting in jail can do, and that is initially to take an introspective glance into their background. And it may sound kind of crazy, but going back to childhood, what was their childhood like? If it was a drug crime, were their parents at home? Were their parents doing drugs? Were their parents working? Did they have to? It takes a lot of time to go through their childhood up until what caused them to break the law. How many times have they been arrested, if at all? It's called their story, their narrative. It's their brand. Tesla has their brand. It's in SpaceX. Nike has their brand, Just Do It. Wheaties has their brand, Breakfast of Champions. Their brand is they need to be able to express themselves so that their attorney can defend them and that they can explain themselves to the judge so that it's not with an excuse, but where they sit back and they can accept responsibility, understand they had victims and remorseful for those that they've hurt. A release plan, The judge is going to want to know, you know, what are they going to do? They may ask straight up in sentencing, what are they going to do to not come back to their courtroom? The judge doesn't want to see them again. And so, they part of the release plan can be, it's kind of premature to be thinking about release before they even have gone to trial or been to the pre-sentence interview. But they could be sitting, part of the narrative can be that, that they've done things that, has been harmful to themselves, their family. They've disappointed their community, wives, children, grandparents, whoever that may be. Maybe they dropped out of school. They wanted to finish school and didn't. Maybe they got in with a bad crowd, but maybe they can use the time if they have to go to prison to get their GED, get a postgraduate degree, and create a plan, a routine. We all have a routine, whether we like it, whether we realize it or not. We get up every day. If you are a white collar guy, you get up, you eat breakfast, brush your teeth, go to work. If you're a blue collar guy, you do the same thing. If you're a drug dealer, do the same thing, but your work is different. And so, you need to understand if you're going to have to go to prison, you need to understand a little bit of the types of programs that are there. And you, if you don't have your GED, this is something the judge wants to hear. Judges understand that if you grew up around drugs and dealing and whatnot, and parents that did the same thing, that they're okay hearing that if this is all you knew, but now you're ready to, like, you have a change of heart and you want to better yourself. This is a very big thing. Requesting letters from people that it can attest to your character, even if your character took a turn for the worst, from someone in the clergy, a neighbor, and practicing your narrative where you can, see that your life took a change. What was there a triggering event that caused this change? Maybe you were a good kid and then you did well in school and then things turned around. I don't know, but your narrative needs to have everything in it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, like the old Clint Eastwood movies, because you don't want to admit anything from this personal narrative that you're drafting. It's your story. And once it's written out, it can be pared down between you and your attorney. And there's no guarantees in life for whatever we do. You can do everything right and still get in trouble. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And so while there's no guarantees about anything, and no one can guarantee you what the judge will do. No one can guarantee that, with the First Step Back earned time credits, that you will, that the Rio prisons will give you these earned time credits. You get out on time. But there is one guarantee, that if you don't do anything, and if you don't take the time to draft your story, your autobiography, anything to counter the Department of Justice's indictment, then the judge will sentence you based on that indictment, and that's not good. If you're an attorney and listening to this, I'd love to work with you and your client. Please give me a call, 240-888-7778, 240-888-7778. My medical career is intact. I still have my license. And if you're a defendant or you think that the Department of Justice or FBI has been nosing around, I've also like to work with you too. Again, 240-888-7778. Hope you have a good day, and thank you for paying attention and listening.